No, so I sent you guys a draft of that letter, right? And you tagged me back on Discord. Ian sent me a text. Ian sent me a separate text, and it was like, have you ever gotten a text from somebody that's like, most of the time you send a text and it's like, here's a sentence. Ian is like, wall of text crits you for 300,000 damage, right? I got like, 100%. Bam!
100%.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers of all ages. It's episode 17 of the On the Button podcast. My name is Wes. I'm here with my boys, Ian and Trey, as we have been doing every other week for a while now. Trey, how you making out this week? How's life treating you?
Man, I have to leave the house, and it's really annoying.
Aww.
I work remotely, and I've worked remotely for 10 years, and so I've got some training I've got to do, and it just my job is in Florida. And so I don't ever have to leave or go anywhere. I live in Houston, but there was some training that came up that's really apropos to what I do. And now I've had to drive to the Galleria, which is like an hour from where I live.
That does kind of suck.
Rush hour both ways.
That does kind of suck.
All week. Yeah. But I mean, it's enjoyable. I've not been around people this much in a long time. Like, just showed up. So like, that many people that do what I do is very strange to be around.
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say you had to go to Florida for training, and I was like, that sounds like a pretty good gig if you can get it.
Oh yeah, that would be great. That would be great. This is get up and drive through rush hour traffic.
Oh no, that's terrible. That's an awful gig. Ian, are things better in your world?
Yeah, everything's going pretty smooth right now. Getting ready to go to Boston during pre-release time.
Sweet.
I will miss all pre-releases. Boo.
What's in Boston?
Boo.
We're going to Salem for Halloween.
Ooh.
Just a little weekend getaway to have a really fun time.
Fancy.
All right.
Now you guys.
Set your wife on fire?
No, I'm gonna wear it against a duck.
Wow. Does your wife know that you have these thoughts, Trey? That's a little disturbing.
Constantly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a little disturbing. More than a little.
I'm gonna
actually.
see if she weighs the same as a duck.
There you
Now.
go.
Before we start the Road Unlimited, I have to ask, because I'm sure someone's going to want to know, Ian, you had your first Aggieland football experience since we recorded last. So give me the super condensed version, like thumbs up, thumbs down. You had a blast.
Wow. Had an amazing time. That was the biggest football game I've ever been to.
Yeah.
The stadium is amazing. The fans are amazing. We went with his friend, Trey's friend Brent, who's a Mississippi State fan. Every other sports game.
Yes, Brent's a grad. Oh, yeah.
Every other sports stadium I've ever been to, if you wear an opposing team's jersey, you get cussed at, thrown things on, called terrible names. Everybody was so polite. They came up, shook his hand, wished him well, hoped his team did well. I was like, this is what is going on.
Yeah.
Are we still in Texas?
That sort of thing generally doesn't happen in Aggieland. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really amazing. I just had the best time learning all the traditions. Trey was awesome about telling me about everything. Some of it's real weird. Oh, but, man, it's so much fun. Much fun.
Yep. I've never had this experience, but I know plenty of people who have, and I'm familiar with some of the traditions, and I know how crazy they are. Certainly the guys who make SEC shorts are familiar with them because they mock them relentlessly all the time, and I just laugh because it's hilarious.
It is. That's okay. We love you too.
Well, guys, we're getting down to the end now, right? Legends of the Force probably only has really about 2 more weeks to run in our lives in terms of being the top dog in the meta and the latest new hotness. They just today did a big draft stream, and we got another mountain of spoilers. Nothing particularly major, I think. There was mostly a lot of commons and uncommons we hadn't seen. But basically, at this point, I think we've seen, I think it's almost the entire set. I think there's maybe 10 to 15 cards. Let me look at this here. No, it looks like the entire set is now completely spoiled. No,
Really?
they posted it today. That's what it is. They posted it on their website today. So the entire set is available over at StarWarsUnlimited.com, and I think even SWODB has it all now as well.
Okay.
So
well, then I've got to go. So I will let y'all.
so
I have decks to build.
we have plans. We have plans. Yes.
Yeah.
So we've loosely talked a little bit about spoilers here and there, off and on, over the last couple of months, 6 weeks, whatever spoiler season has been. But now that we're here, we have the full list. We know all the leaders. We know everything. Ian, give me some thoughts. What's first impression? What leaps out? Good impression of the set, mediocre impression of the set. I know we were kind of down on it at one point early on. The spoilers were not looking so great. Has anything changed?
Some of my decks that I like to play, like Grand Inquisitor, I think are getting better with this set. They spoiled a card today that's pretty awesome for Grand Inquisitor too.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to try out Dryden Voss, and I really want to try it out Sabi. Is that her name?
Sabe, something like that. Yeah, we're all going to get it wrong. Whatever.
I started building decks around those two to give them a try when they first come out. Overall, though, there's not a whole lot of cards I'm super excited about. This might be the first time I don't bust out a bunch of boxes. I might just hit up Trey for some singles when I need some singles, and that's about it.
Okay. Trey, what about you?
Well, I had some strong words in our last episode.
You did.
Oh, yeah.
I will say that one of the things that Ian pointed out is that even if in order for the set to be good, like every remaining card had to be really good. And I will say it's not.
No.
But there are a lot more of the final tranche of cards is better than the ones that they spoiled before. So I guess I haven't seen the whole set yet, or maybe I have and I just didn't realize I was looking at the whole set. But I have not been pushed further down my path of this set is going to damage the game. I haven't pulled back from it. I think that there are a lot of mediocre to poor cards in here. I think there are a lot of cards that play the game differently, and I applaud the decision to make cards that play the game differently. Flip into there's a guy released today or spoiled today that was like a 3/4, and when you attack, you get to reveal the top 2 cards of the deck, and if you do, you may exhaust a unit that shares a trait with one of those. Like, it's got all this text on it.
I saw that guy. Yeah.
The hard slicer. I applaud the idea that they're making it this complicated, or not this complicated, but adding this many facets to the game. Mm-hmm. I am not convinced that any of that is going to matter, because if you're busy dirtling around and flipping over cards and trying to swap out cards and play this one upgrade that's going to tap somebody down or whatever, and then just aggro just steamrolls you because the games just don't go long enough to allow that type of game to flourish, then all of these cards are just going to go in the rubbish bin because nobody can play them because the speed, fast, aggressive cards are too good. I will say there were a couple of cards released today that I'm really excited about, and I've talked about it in previous sets. There are times that I am excited about cards that are just kind of not super flashy, but really interesting to me. So one of the ones that was released today was the Imperial Dark Trooper, it's just a battlefield marine, but it's in black, and it's an Imperial, and it's a droid, and it's a trooper. And I think that's
simple. Love it.
Dead simple, but I think it adds a lot of having those traits attached to a 3/3 for 2 is good. Now I don't know how that's going to play in a world where things that are 2 cost are 2 4s, but we'll see. There are a lot of things that care about that. The one that I saw today that was really exciting to me, and I think it will be fascinating to see how it develops, is the Umbaran mobile cannon. And so it's blue. It's not white or black. It's just blue. It costs 6. It's a vehicle on the ground, so that's a rarity.
It is a
7/3, which sounds terrible. But it has the text. It's the first time this unit would take damage each phase. Prevent that damage. So they're going to have to crash. If they don't have some other way to kill it, they're going to have to crash 2 guys into it at a minimum. 2 guys into it on the same turn.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty exciting. Who knows if it'll be any good and if it'll make any decks, but it's pretty exciting. It certainly dies to Anakin that gives things -3/-3, but we'll see. I don't know. I like the idea that they're doing it. Hey, my cat is at my feet, rubbing against me.
That card caught my eye as well for the same reason, right? It's an interesting mechanic, an odd kind of a payoff in vigilance. And I like it because it rewards a little bit like all these red cards like Vader or Maul or Sorceress Blast. Anything that deals like direct damage allows you to take an action and not even crash a dude into it, to just be like, I'm going to pop your little ability and then maybe throw something into it. Or maybe you pop him with Maul's text and then hit him with the Sorceress, attack with a Force Guy and hit him with the Sorceress Blast. The trouble is, while you're dicking around with all that, he's probably attacked something. So that text is a really nice insurance. It's like, this guy, unless you have some way, you have a Sentinel, like you said, some way to shrink him, Whirlwind of Power, Anakin, whatever, he's probably going to survive to attack. And that's not good for you. So that's interesting. That's a neat mechanic. Go ahead.
I think this set is going to hang on how the keywords play, right? That seems to be what carries sets forward, right? So if plot and what's the other one? Reveal?
Disclose. Disclose is not really a keyword, it's just a mechanic.
It's not really a mechanic, right? If plot doesn't play well and isn't valuable, then this set unfortunately will fizzle like Twilight, because Twilight's two keywords were coordinate, which nobody plays coordinate cards, at least that I've seen, and is competitive with it, and nobody plays exploit because there's no good exploit cards.
Right.
So
there are a handful of fringe decks, a couple of fringe decks that use like one exploit card, but it's ancillary.
A very small number. Yeah.
So there is one. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Trey.
I think plot is going to see a good amount of play. It will be interesting to see if you can build an entire set off of a use once a game mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very interesting choice to focus a number of cards around keeping you from playing cards, which is what Disclose is. Disclose, you have to make a choice. Am I going to play this card, or am I going to keep it into my hand to disclose to get value out of it? And it's a juxtaposition to me of, I play a card game that is now asking me to not play cards. And so I don't know how that's going to work. We'll see. It may just affect sequencing, but who knows? We'll see. It's a curious choice to me.
I think it's going to play really well in like pre-release.
So here's an interesting
draft.
Yes. Here's an interesting statistic for you. Set is 264 cards. That's fairly typical. Usually they come in between 250, 260, somewhere in there. There are only 31 cards with the plot keyword. That's it. It's a very small. It's just like was that like I run the numbers like 13% of the set or something like that. It's not a huge number. Now, so here's the trick though, and one of those. Actually, I would say really only 30, because Palpatine, the search is giving me Palpatine, and he's a leader. You don't play him as a plot, but he has the keyword on him because of his flip side. So that wouldn't count. So there's only 30 plot cards in the whole set. Now, is that going to be a huge impact? I think yes and no. And here's why I think that, right? Some of these plot cards are cracked. Absolutely insane. Cinta is going to completely change how late deploying aggro decks function. If you have an aggro leader, or even a leader that you're pairing with red, right, that deploys on 6 or later, Vader, Old Cassian, I don't know, pick somebody. Cinta is going to completely change how those decks even function, which is good and bad in my mind, because it's going to be the Wild West for a little while, okay? Sudden Ferocity is going to do similar things for leaders that deploy, red leaders that deploy early. I'm looking at Dedra. I'm looking at Kylo 2. I'm looking at Vonreg. Imagine a world where Vonreg flips out onto his tie, and then you add another +3 on top of that. Like, it becomes absolutely nutty how hard that unit hits.
So for people like me who are not super well versed, Cinta is a red card that costs 6. That's a 5/5 and has plot. And when you play her, you get to attack with a unit. So you play your leader, you flip her to play on 6. You play her for 6, and then you get to attack
right away.
Well, not with her because she's top. You attack with your leader right away. So
Probably,
you don't have to have him heal.
Attack with your leader right away. Imagine a world. I mean,
what was the other one?
Sudden Ferocity is a simple plot card.
Oh,
it's right next to Cinta in the list. It's a 3-cost upgrade that has plot, that is a +3 attack bonus. That's all it is.
Okay.
So again, throwing that down on your leader when you flip out. For a cheap leader, that feels pretty good. Unveiled Might is another one of these. It's in green, right? It's. I look at this like a card like Sabine might enjoy, right? Because it's a 4-drop plot upgrade that's +2/+3. So it's not as strong as a Darksaber, but it's still giving you more than 5 health. That's beneficial to a card like Sabine Leader that wants to hang around the table. I think that some of these plot cards are going to find their way into some older, maybe leaders that aren't quite S or A tier, and bump them up a little bit to where they're going to see a little more play. Is it going to make them playable overnight? There I hold my judgment. I don't think so, but it's possible. But there's only 30 of these cards. So, I mean, I feel like the impact on the greater game is going to come down to a handful of things. So we'll see. I don't know. There's some really strong effects in here, though. So
I'm looking at them right now. Meh. I just don't see how you can chain them together without flipping up. Like, especially like you're talking about using some of those red cards, right? You're gonna have to flip your leader later to combo these together.
Not necessarily. What if your leader already flips late? What if your leader already flips on 6? You're not doing anything. You're just flipping your leader on 6 and playing a card like Cinta.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I'm just saying, the reason I like, when I first read Cinta, the thought that I had was this, right? Luke Pilot is one of the better leaders to come out of JTL, but he's been very bubble-ish, right? He can be very strong, and he himself is very difficult to kill. He's like the only pilot upgrade you can't just like play a confiscate and blow him off the board, right? You have to work to kill his unit. Now imagine a world where he can just flip out an attack right away, right? And there's nothing you can do to stop that attack because Cinta just allows it as soon as he deploys onto his ship. Like these kinds of things are going to start happening. Yeah.
You start using it to close out games.
Exactly right. So plot feels like it's going to be a mechanic where, you know how some games drag? We all experienced that this week, right? I think plot is certain. You
guys did.
Okay, fair enough. In certain decks, plot is going to completely be like you flipped your leader and the game is going to end within the next couple of turns. It's going to be that impactful in certain decks. Personal opinion.
I like the idea of leaders staying around longer.
I do too. I'm really excited to see all these leaders now that we've seen the complete list. I think that one of the comments I'd made a while back was, I don't mind them that we were all really down on the leaders and they'd spoiled a lot of the common leaders and they were thoroughly meh. And I'm okay with the common leaders being fairly mediocre or at least average, just playable average cards. I'm okay with that. But when we get to the rare leaders, I want to take some risks. I want them to be taking risks and trying new things. I feel like they've done that, right? When you look at the rare leaders, we're talking about Dryden Voss, which I think is a really interesting card. We're talking about Bail Organa. We're talking about Cassian Andor, the last leader spoiled just today. Really, really interesting card. You're looking at DJ is going to play. Yeah. DJ's going to play like no other leader in the game. So I love seeing them take some.
Figure him out.
Yes, I love
seeing. Figure out a good deck for him, and it's going to be fun.
I love seeing them take some risks within the rare leader department and push the design and introduce crazy mechanics. There are still some duds in here, right? Like I look at a card like Leia, which is the rare blue heroism leader, and I'm like, this card is just not good. So they're not all winners, but I still think that on the whole, the leader pool is better than I was fearing it was going to be. One thought that I had while Trey was talking, and I'll share this with you guys, is I'm not sure we can judge this set fully until year one rotates out. Because Trey made a great point about how fast the game is. The speed of the game is still really rooted in Spirit of Rebellion, Spark of Rebellion, Shadows of the Galaxy. Like the speed of the game is all from those early cards in the early sets. The power legendaries, the crazy good leaders, Cad and Sabine, and all this sort of thing. With Tarkin Town, right? How many times have we all you don't get a turn? Tarkin Town's like, well, you don't get a turn one play. That speeds the game up. Somebody's dying faster now. When those cards start to rotate out. And now we've got all of these 2/4s as your early plays and fewer 3/3s and that kind of thing. The game is going to change. It's the speed of the game is going to change, I think. And I think
it'll certainly change. I don't think you can just not judge it. I mean, it'll be a pre and post rotation, and when they designed it, it has to be able to work with both.
I agree. I'm just saying,
you
evaluation
really
may
think
change
they
in March.
tested that?
I
You really think they play tested that?
I love the cynic we've turned him into.
I mean,
what is this we business? You're the one who sold him that. You're the one who told him how it all worked. And now that that the scales have fallen from his eyes, he's just jaded.
there's an infinite combo. They put an infinite combo in this set right now.
I like infinite combos. I think they're neat when you can pull them off. They just have to be tricky to do.
Well, this one definitely qualifies.
Yeah, like infinite combos aren't inherently bad. It's a fun thing to aspire to. You just got to make it so that it's not super easy.
I've been able to pull it off pretty consistently with using what's the card? The one that turns it into a turns it into a like a Chewbacca style.
Shadowy. Oh, Shattered Intentions? Shattered Intentions, where they can't destroy it with an event or whatever.
Because I can play Kira or what's her name? Darth Treya. Whatever the girl's. Darth Treya, and I can play that, and then I can play that blue card out of aspect after claiming. Pulls it off pretty easy, actually, because now you've got to crash into the unit. You can't, try to open fire or OB it out of there. So I don't know. I don't think
you should win Worlds or Galactics or whatever the hell it's called.
Come on. I can't even win a local PQ.
well, now speaking of the PQ, let's jump around a little bit. Speaking of the PQ, let's talk about that because the Dragon's Lair PQ here, Houston, our local shop, was just last weekend. Trey, of course, with his season tickets to Aggie football, declined. But Ian, you and I went. How did you do? Talk to me. How was your tournament?
I took Boba Datavault and had my best PQ yet.
Awesome.
I finished 4-3, which isn't fantastic, but I wanted to be in every game, and even the games that I lost 2-1. Like I never got swept out, which was a nice feeling because the last PQ I went to, I got swept out a lot. Like it was either I won 2 games or I drew one out with Anthony. But, it wasn't a great experience. But this time it felt a lot more comfortable. I went 11-8 overall. It just it sucked like a couple of times. Like I played a game 3 against Han Green where they resupplied, and then before I could even blink or get a unit on the board, I was looking at Han, Chewie, and Emphas Nest. And I'm just like,
you're done.
What do I do?
Enfys is never, Enfys is never going to let you back in the game. Your game is over.
Yeah, and just it was just over before I could stop it.
Yeah.
I do want to say that it's been I've really enjoyed. You and I became friends when this game started, and watching you start from 0 and just incrementally climb that mountain and put in the work and get better. I really enjoyed watching you do that.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun doing it. I guess. My first PQ, I went 2-3 and left to watch the Texans game. The next PQ, I was 2-3 at one point and got convinced to stick around to win one more game when it was a scrub game. I was playing with the scrubs at like the last table. But this time I was like right there. I was like up a table, down table, up. I was like in it, out of it, in and out of it, in and out of it, which was a nice feeling. Felt really bad for Jason all day. He wanted to be with Trey at the Florida A&M game, and
so the TO, our Jason,
our local TO,
he's a Florida alum. So if I have friends that went to a school that play at A&M, I always take them to the game. And so Jason's been to several Florida at A&M games with me, and he couldn't go because he was donating his time and he couldn't get him to change the date.
Yep, he was committed to running this particular event, and I know when they announced it, he looked at the football schedule and died a little on the inside. So.
I told him to give him the finger and find somebody else to do it. But he's way too nice.
That other person he had lined up was me, and it would have been a disaster. Okay, would have been a disaster. So I'm very glad he was there overall. But like when the game started, you could see it on his face that like it hit something a bit.
Yeah.
You remember what I said about rooting for like when I turn on my team and I want them to fail spectacularly? If maybe they should give the guy an opportunity to not do the thing. Like that's if you ran it and it was a disaster, then maybe they would learn to like not say this is the day you're doing it, Mr. Volunteer who doesn't get paid.
Well, as I understand the PQ process, right? When you apply, you give them like like a rank, a first, second, and third choice of dates, right?
Mhm.
These are the 3 dates we'd like to run it. And then when you get it, you just you get told yes or no, and here's your date. And that's it. And very rarely do they let you change it. I know that the Portland guys who got hosed because they announced the sector qualifiers on top of a PQ on the same day in the same city, they were allowed to change. But like very rarely do I think they go back and make exceptions and let you move once those dates are set.
How'd you do in the PQ, Wes?
Well, you were witness to my deck struggles. With the whole week, I was trying to figure out what I was going to play. I was on Sabine ECL for a while, and I took that to regulars night and was messing around with that. And then like Friday night in a panic, I tagged Ian. I was like, "Can we play some games on Carabas?" And he's like, "Okay." And so I'm playing these games into Sabine, and I'm like running about 50-50 against Boba, and I'm like, let me try something else. And so I played. I
went to bed.
You went to bed, and then I tried Boba Dadavault for a couple of games, and that wasn't working. And I busted out Kylo Tarkentown and had a couple of good games, like old Kylo, my old double red Kylo. And I was like, that's it. That's what I'm taking. And so I got it all together, and I got the deck list filled out, and I submitted it. And then I went to bed, and I woke up the next morning and was like, no, I can't do this. It's got too many bad matchups. I can't do this. And I talked myself out of it. I was running around in circles. And finally, I just decided, you know what? I'm going to go play. You guys have seen my Vader double red, right? Vader, 30-point red base, old school Vader from Spark of Rebellion. I have the showcase because I went to Vegas. I love that deck. I just took that. I was
Did
like,
you
know
leave
what?
the Force throws in?
Of course not. It's not legal.
I don't know.
No.
It was a Han heavy day, and Force Throw would have been.
Force Throw would have been really good. Force Throw would have been good. And so I ended up taking that, and I went 4-3. I ended up with a winning record. I had some really good games. I had some really, really bad matchups. If I had sideboarded correctly, I might have had a better shot into the 2 Space Weenie decks that absolutely steamrolled over me. I was sort of banking on the fact that Vader, like JTL Vader Yellow, had kind of faded. Like it just doesn't, not a lot of it out there right now. No, I ran into one of those, and it just laughed at me like, you can't touch me.
So we had a whole conversation 2 weeks ago about how Bombing Run is so good, and maybe it even deserves a spot in the main deck, but at least it has to go in the sideboard. So how was your one main deck Bombing Run, Wes?
There wasn't one.
What about the sideboard? I guess you brought in 3 from the set. Okay. Well,
didn't I just say I didn't sideboard correctly? So yeah.
With Boba, I found the best Vader combo when you're going up against Vader JTL. You get TIE Bomber, Vader upgrade, HK on the ground. And I was just printing.
It's amazing.
Damage. Just printing damage. Okay, I attack. With Vader, I kill this 1/1 unit, this 1/1 unit. HK deals 2 damage to your base. Then we do blah, blah, blah.
The
really bad.
Vader pilot on an early bomber or an early strike ship is one of the best starts that a villain red deck can get. That Vader pilot card out of JTL is one of the best legendaries they've printed, and I think it's just super slept on. I think a lot of people don't realize how good that card is. It's amazing.
Not against any Vigilance villainy deck, because it just gets instantly power to the dark side.
Well, I mean, right? You playing into that, you have you don't rely on it to win you the game, right? And you have to be cognizant of the matchup you're in for power of the dark side or waylay or something like that. I get it, but into certain decks, into certain matchups where you're not going to see these things, it is absolutely
it's deadly as hell.
Disgusting how good that combo is. It's so good, so good. So yeah, I had a great time. I went and had a good time, and that was all I was really looking for. I went and played some SWU, hung out, had a great time. So it was a good day.
Did anybody cover it? Was it broadcast?
No, there was no streaming. I had a lot of people surprised that I wasn't streaming it, and
they were shocked you were playing.
They were shocked.
Every time
everyone's like,
"Where's Wes's table?"
Why aren't you?
Bro, he's playing today.
Why aren't you streaming today?
What do you mean he's playing? Blah,
and
blah,
I was like, do I look like a monkey that you can just command to dance whenever you want? That's not how this works, fellas.
That's exactly what you look like.
No, that's 100% not how this works.
I mean, you may not be that. I'm just saying that's what you look like. I look at you and I just think monkey that dances.
I have a finger for you, Trey, but it's a family-friendly podcast, and I will not be sharing it on camera at this exact moment. No, I didn't stream. And I had kind of come to that conclusion the week before. Going about 2 days before Lubbock, I was still thinking in the mindset of, I'm going to stream this thing. And then I found out somewhere, or if I finally realized that like I was going to be up against the regional out of Spain, and the Philadelphia stream that was finally allowed to happen for the sector qualifier, the limited sector qualifier in Philly. And I was like, you know what? With my gear, I had some gear issues in Lubbock, and I wasn't going to have time to solve them. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to not. I'm going to take the rest of the year off. I'm going to go play. I'm going to be a player for a change, right? And do that. And I think it worked better. The Philly stream almost didn't happen.
Really?
It almost didn't happen. I tagged. I had originally tagged Star City when they announced the dates and said, "Hey, this is the one I'm interested in. Are you guys going to be okay if I can come and everything?" And they were like, "Let us get back to you. We don't know yet. We're having conversations with the venue about things." I was like, "Okay, sure, reasonable." And then over the next couple of weeks, I looked at the economics of how much it was going to cost and all this sort of thing. And eventually, I came to my own conclusion: I was not going to do it because I couldn't afford it.
Right.
I couldn't afford to do it out of my own pocket. It's not cheap.
Yeah, it's not cheap at all.
It's not cheap for me to schlep all my gear and do it right, you know?
It's way too expensive.
You invest way more personal resources in doing some stuff for other people than I could reasonably condone myself. So.
Well, I don't have kids, so I get away with some things that I probably otherwise shouldn't.
Yeah.
You didn't hear Ginger laughing over here. But the McClunky guys had intended to cover it. McClunky Gaming, Tim and Claire are based out of New York City. And so their plan was always, we're going to just drive down to Philly and cover it. And I was like, great. If I'm not there, there's going to be somebody who's really good at this, covering things. It'll look fabulous. They do a great job. Great, no problem. But as we got closer, again, that channel I was talking about on Loopy's Discord, at some point somebody had tagged into the channel and was like, "Hey, how's it coming? Have you heard about Philly?" And Tim was like, "It looks like it's not going to happen because the union at the convention center, I don't know if it was electricians or whatever, but they wanted like all this money to either pay them to set up or tear down or something like this. They were basically going to have to shell out 5 figures of their own money to make this stream happen, which is absolutely ridiculous. No player should be ever asked to do that. And so they were like, it looks like it's not going to happen. And apparently about 10 days, about 2 weeks out, you guys are familiar with one of our competition podcasts. Have you heard of Underwhelming Barrage? The one that John Tata...
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm familiar that it exists. I've not spent time.
Okay, so John Tata does a regular thing with some regular guys, and they have like a rotating guest. It's a really, really good show. They do a lot of fun with it.
I have to say, I'm furious that I did not come up with my name myself.
It's really good. It's a really good name.
It's a great name.
It's a great name. It's a great name. Any event, they had Mike, Gem, Bobby Sapphire on a couple of weeks ago, and he basically kind of got to the end and went on a little like rant, like, this is ridiculous. This has to happen. FFG needs to make this happen. Everybody needs to contact them and make this happen. And so, as I understand it, because I reached out to Tim to try to find out what's going on. Long story short, somewhere in the organization, FFG stepped up and told Star City, let them come. If there's a problem, if the unions give you fit, I guess presumably if they send you a bill, whatever, we'll cover it. Just make this happen. So the stream happened, which was great. But what I can't understand is why the EU majors get such amazing coverage and the US major tournaments get left to just twist in the wind, right? This makes no sense to me. So
I don't have any thoughts about that. Ian, do you have any thoughts about that? Why that might be?
Ooh, don't ask him that question.
I mean, it's a real simple thing. They give the cow and the milk away for free. There are 4 or 5 of you guys that love to do this and do a great job doing it and get out to these events and do planetary qualifiers and regionals and sectors and all these great things. FFG gives you absolutely nothing for it. You're doing it for the community, your own money out of the pocket. Why are they going to put in money when all you guys are doing it for free?
Well, and you're not wrong. And I've written a letter that I'm going to send to a couple of folks over at FFG to see if I can start a conversation to be like, okay, guys, this almost like Philly almost didn't happen. And it didn't happen because you are not committing financial resources to ensuring that these things happen. How do we fix this? Right? First of all, kudos for stepping up and making sure that this most recent sector qualifier in the States was streamed. I'm saying, look, I have to give credit where it's due, okay? Because I'll be honest, this is not a knock against Tim and Claire because they're fabulous people. There's a small part of me that wanted this stream to not happen simply because we could
You're
then,
on my side.
because, well, exactly
it
for
needs
this.
to catastrophically fail.
Exactly right.
So that it doesn't half-ass its way to mediocrity.
Exactly right.
Somebody needs to see it catastrophically fail so that things will change.
The only, in my opinion, if this stream had not occurred, finally there would have been enough people asking, why is this not happening? There would have been a larger conversation that I think would have gotten FFG's attention. That conversation happened in advance of the event, so they stepped up. The stream occurred. I still think this conversation has to happen. So I'm going to write them a letter, and I'm going to try to have this. I'm going to try to have this conversation with them to say, guys, I don't understand why you have this giant, vast chasm between how your major events are covered in Europe and how they're not covered in the United States. This has to get fixed. You are the only ones who can fix it. We cannot do it ourselves, okay? The players do not have the financial resources to do everything for you. We can help if you want to step up, and we can bridge the gap while you figure out what it is you want to do. But guys, sooner or later, what happened in Philadelphia is going to happen again. You're going to schedule an event on a date that nobody can attend because we don't know when these things occur until you announce them to the public. You're going to schedule things at a venue that's going to charge you all kinds of money, and you're not going to pay, or we're not going to find out, or something. It's going to happen again. Okay, we're going to find ourselves in this exact situation again unless they step up and dedicate resources to ensuring that it doesn't happen again. So I'm going to try. I'm going to try to be diplomatic. I'm going to try to talk to them in the background and and if it doesn't work, I'm going to be a jerk and go make a video and try to raise hell, because it's got to get fixed. It's got to get fixed one way or another. I don't understand why they don't see it.
Yeah. Rehydrate there real quick.
Yeah, we're all shrugging. Like
It just got dead air for like 3 seconds, and that's because you were drinking, and that's okay. It's explaining and narrating.
I could go on and on. I'm so passionate about this subject and about getting this right. The competition is crazy, right? Lorcana, Magic, Flesh and Blood, all put on really good events, right? And it doesn't really matter who's doing it. They've all got a nice baseline of people who do it well. Guess who's coming? Guys, we're 2 weeks away from Riftbound releasing. Do you know what Riot Games has been doing for the last 15 years? Live streaming digital events. So
right.
don't fool yourselves that they're going to ignore this, okay? And I'm just FFG is trying to compete with people, and it feels like the company doesn't even understand that they're in the competition at all. It's like, guys, this is happening.
There you go. That's the answer, Wes. They don't understand they're in the competition at all. They don't have their own setup in the U.S. The only thing they've done themselves in the U.S. is their Galactic Championship.
Yeah.
And they streamed just the main event, and that was it.
We had this conversation several casts ago talking about the GC, right? I don't think the stream was poor. There's always room for improvement, even on my stuff that I'm pretty happy with. I can always point back and see, I needed to do this better. And for the first, go ahead, Trey.
I will say, the reason that I say it's poor is because if they had a modicum of self-awareness to look out and see what other people have done and the pioneering that's been done in the broadcasting Star Wars Unlimited space, if they had just done that for 5 minutes and looked at other streams, they would have made a lot of different choices in what they put on the screen and how they put it on the screen. And so the reason that I say it's poor is because it gave all the impression that they thought they knew better. They thought that they could do it better than everybody else, or they didn't even consider that other people had done it and other people might have had good ideas and look to crib from you or McClunky or whomever ways to do it. And so they made a lot of choices and they made a lot of mistakes that were easily avoidable. Yeah. That's why I say it's poor.
I agree with you there.
That sums up Galactic Championship Season 0.
I agree with you there. And I think that
was
the
first coverage, the whole thing.
That was the whole event.
As a viewer, that was one of my frustrations with the stream, was it felt like a lot of us had been through this. Anytime you'd get into this world, it's an iterative experience. You try something and it works, or it doesn't. You learn, you adapt, you adjust, you try it again. These guys are now doing this for the very first time. There was going to be no iteration, no iterative of, hey, we're broadcasting a live tournament coverage of Star Wars Unlimited, because they'd never done it before. So if you're going to go into it blind, what do you want to do? you want to look around at what other people have done and maybe kind of glean some knowledge from them. But it didn't feel like that had ever occurred. Exactly what you're saying, Trey. It felt like all of these failures, the good things that we had done or the bad things that we had tried that didn't work out and that we had discarded, various people had tried things, all kinds of stuff. They had done none of that. They're just like, oh, we're going to do this and it's going to be the best thing ever. And it was like, well, it wasn't bad, but it could have been better, right? Like
I knew the stream was in trouble when we were in Denver and we got brushed off, completely brushed off.
Yeah.
I think we put on a really good show in Denver. I think
agree.
It was a lot of fun. And they just were like,
eh. Yeah. Yeah, I was a little disappointed at that, partly because I think it goes back to what we were talking about. I don't think they realize that this is the arena you're in now. There's a part of me that feels like the company mindset is stuck in 2010, where nobody cares or wants to see streamed tabletop gaming. But that basically all died by 2015, 2016. By the time that Trey and I were making trips to Minneapolis for X-Wing Worlds or Imperial Assault or Destiny, they were live streaming Destiny events 6-7 years ago. They know this demand exists. They know people want to see this stuff. And I don't understand why they didn't come into this game with a plan for that. And yet here we are. So the community in the US has stepped up and is trying to bridge this gap, but we cannot do it forever without FFG reaching out a hand to help us continue. And that's the point that I'm going to try to make to them and I'm going to try and get them to understand. If they don't understand it, I don't know what else we can do, kids. Like, I mean, we'll see.
I don't know that I've ever participated in a community involved in a game like this where you can feel the personalities behind the decisions that the company makes so clearly. And I don't know the names of the people associated with it, but like you can tell that the people who designed this set are the same people who designed Twilight of the Galaxy. Like you can just feel, read the cards, they have the same vibe. You can tell that this aspect of the game, the people that make the band decisions, you can tell like the same people do certain things, and some of the people who are responsible for the game are very forward thinking and they're pushing forward, and then some of the people who make the decisions for another aspect of the game are just, they live in their little silo and they pay no attention to what goes on the outside world and they take no input from anybody else. And you can just see that this aspect of the game is well run and organized and it's done correctly and well. And this other little aspect of the game over here is just run by someone who thinks they know better and doesn't care. It's very clear that the personalities behind the different aspects of this game are more clear to me than any other game I've ever paid attention to. That's interesting to me.
It's one reason I'm really glad to see them bringing in new blood for certain things, right? I look at somebody that they hired, like Jack, right? They hired him off of, I forget what the Golden Dice podcast, I think, right?
Okay.
And so they've brought him in now as a part of the community team, right? He's somebody who's been playing FFG games for a while, right? All the way back to Destiny and stuff, and now he's working for the company. That's somebody who I think understands what it's like to be on this side of the camera as a content creator in this space, trying to make it work, and all of the tools we need, and the things that help us out, and the things that are a big hindrance. Now, he's probably also learned a lot. I won't speak for him, but I'm guessing, at the corporate side, when you're dealing with the Disney and their lawyers, there's all kinds of things that you probably want to do that you can't do because of the IP you're working in. And there's all kinds of other things that I'm sure it's like, oh, that's eye-opening. I didn't know that. But I want to believe that some of the folks that they're bringing in, a lot of the new blood will help temper these problems, correct them over time. I want to believe that. I don't know yet. We'll see.
Right. So now we have a non sequitur to the last.
Yeah, we can't make this transition very easily.
I can't roll it in there.
No, but Trey, you wanted to talk about tournament prep. I think we had kind of done things a little out of order there. This was supposed to kind of come after the PQ discussion where I discussed how badly I failed at excelling with Vader Red. Trey was gonna be like, "Well, here's what you should have done." So I'm ready for your lecture, Trey. Go for it.
All right, so I guess we're descending into, at the end of the segment, Trey just rants about stuff. At the end of this episode, I just have something that I do. So
we'll just start calling this Trey's biweekly rant section, and and go
Trey's angry corner or something like
Trey's
that.
angry
I'm
rant.
not really angry. I'm not really angry. So this is a topic I'm not really hesitant to broach it, but I want to be very careful with it because I hate telling people how to enjoy the things that they enjoy. I don't like telling people. I mean, it's kind of fun with my friends to tell if they like something to crap on it and tell them it's dumb, but that's just all in fun. But like, if you legitimately enjoy whatever you enjoy, I want you to enjoy it. Like if you're enjoying something and it's making you happy and it's causing you to put out positive vibes into the world, like, yay. It may not be my cup of tea. Good for you. But I do want to discuss the concept of what you're choosing to do based on the tournament or the environment that you're going to play in. So if you're playing galactic championships, if you're playing the highest levels, if you're playing with lots of significant prizes on the line, like if you're going out, if there are places in this world that you will go and you will play this game, and I'm going to limit it to this game. I could probably expand this to like a whole bunch of other things beyond just this game, but we're going to stick to this game for now. If you're going to a place where it is, I'm going to go out and I'm going to be the absolute best that I can possibly be with every tool that I have, every weapon that I can bring. I'm going to bring the deadliest weapon and I'm going to learn to play it the best. Like I'm going to go be the shark that I can be. And there are places where that is amazing. And I want to see that. That's Galactic Championships. That's PQ. But sometimes at the PQ, you get people like Wes who show up with they can't figure out a deck and they show up with the deck. They know they're not going to win, but they're going to here to do pretty well. Yeah. So, like, there are places, there's a time and a place for, I guess that's a good way to put it. There's a time and a place to show up with the biggest, baddest sword you can, no matter what it does to the game. Like, the games that you play. If it is legal and in the rules and these cards allow me to do it, screw you, I'm here to crush. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's, at the other end of the spectrum, there's casual play. And so, like, if you're just going to your local or you're playing at your house with a bunch of friends, and you're going out to play against other people, it's my opinion that the focus of the purpose of that moment changes. And you should be less focused on, I'm going to encourage people. I'm sure there are groups that want to go just as cutthroat whenever they go up against each other. And as long as that's agreed upon in your casual group, like we're just going to go 100 miles an hour, biggest, baddest weapon, let's go at it. Like that's, sure, go for it. That's what you enjoy. But if you're going out where it's a mixture of people, say you're going out to a local casual play night, I would encourage, if you're listening to this and you're choosing what deck to play, I would encourage you to be cognizant of the experience of people on both sides of the table. Because
I just realized what's prompted this discussion, but go ahead.
Yeah. Because I don't want to go, like for our local, just for example, and there are other people that have similar examples to me. I drive almost an hour on every Tuesday night. I drive an hour there. Then when I leave, it's late at night. So it's about 40 minutes back home. So I've spent about an hour and a half to an hour and 40 minutes on the road to drive over for 2 or 3, 4 hours and play cards with my friends. I don't want to show up for a casual event and just feed my cards into your wood chipper and not get to play. Like, I want to see I'm there. And if it's casual, if it's casual, like I want to play the cards that I brought and I want you to play the cards that you brought. But if the cards that you brought are just there to give every card that I brought the middle finger, I'm not going to have fun and I'm not going to want to play against you anymore. So read the situation for what you bring. Now, there's a sliding scale that this goes up to. Like if you turn the dial all the way to the right, bring the biggest, baddest thing, go nuts, do your thing. All the way over on the left, it's casual. Like let's enjoy this time together. There are places to stop along that path. It's not just the far left and the far right. If you are in a little casual tournament where 10 people are showing up, you can bring that biggest, baddest weapon that you can find and crush people, and you're going to win. But you're also going to be playing against 8-year-old boys who assembled their cards in whatever way they could assemble them. You're going to be playing against people that have a pet deck and they want to see how well it does in a semi-competitive event. Basically, if you're playing at a lower end event, for example, a $5 premier tournament that has 13 people playing in it, You are perfect. It is perfectly valid.
What an
Like, if you
oddly
say-
specific example. Do continue.
if you are playing balls out to win that tournament, and torpedoes be damned, I'm going to bring the most gruesome thing I can that's going to crush everybody, and it's going to just give the middle finger to everybody that wants to play cards. Okay, you can do that, and you will almost certainly win, and no one will want to play with you. And so when you're making your choice, all I'm going to forward this is, and this happened to us yesterday.
Yeah.
I also, it actually happened with a couple of decks yesterday, and Wes and I are split on one of them because one of them was a very heavy control deck, but it was winning through doing something unusual, and so I didn't have as much a problem with it as just the...
Oh, come on.
I didn't have as much a problem with that because it was fun to watch him try and pull it off. It didn't bug me nearly as much, and I almost got there. Wes almost got there against him.
Speak for yourself.
But then you were. I watched your game. You were almost there.
I was
but
close.
The other one was just like, I sat down in the first round and played, and I played a card, and then it died.
Mhm.
And then the next round I played a card, and then it died. And the next round I played a card, and then it died. And then I played a card, and then it died. And then I played a card, and then it died. And then I played a card again, and then it died. And then I just went, you know what? Screw this, and scooped up my cards, and I said, look, I'm not playing this anymore because this isn't fun, because we're not playing at a PTQ or whatever they call them here. PQ. Yeah. We're not playing for Galactic Worlds. This is not open play. This should be competitive.
You're playing with your friends.
I'm here with my friends and people that I would like to be my friends, but I want it to be competitive. I don't want to force people not to play certain things to match my play style. I'm not here to say that. I'm here to encourage people to think about the stakes. And when we're sitting at the table, I don't want to be given any room to take things back. I want it to be like the decisions that we're making are as competitive as can be given the tools that we brought to fight with. Yeah. But I would encourage people that consider the stakes of whatever you're bringing your decks to when you make your decision on what to play. What deck you're going to bring is going to reflect on whether you can bring things that will make people not want to be around you. And that's perfectly valid, and you will win your $25 in store credit. But then the downside is you're going to make people not want to play against you or be around you. So I would encourage people to just consider that when they bring their cards. And I'm not begrudging the loss. You brought a perfectly legal, valid deck. You beat me with it. I just don't want to sit here and be subjected to it. So I'm just going to concede and scoop it up. Congratulations, you won. I had no fun. I don't know about you. So that's where I'm going with this.
There were two very hard control decks at our local $5 tournament.
In a field of 12 people.
In a field of 12.
That included a family with two boys under the age of 10.
Yeah. Look, I think what Trey's trying to say is don't bring a hard control deck when you're playing with your friends. It's not how you make friends.
It's not a good way to make friends.
FFG has done a really good job.
If your friend group does that, then sure, go at it. If it's agreed on beforehand, and that's the type of people you are, and you play like hardcore cutthroat, and like you agree to it ahead of time, then it's great. But that's not it's not how we do it.
Generally, no.
Look, FFG has done a really good job on banning cards that make the game unfun. Okay, Triple Dark Raid, when you're on the other end of it, is unfun, right? With Django being force throwed 3 times in 2 plays, it feels horrible. Okay. They've banned these cards for a reason. At the same time, though, they've included all of these control cards, and you can now put them all in a deck. You can stall somebody completely out. We had one deck that was literally designed just to not die.
Yeah.
There was no other design to it. It was designed not to die.
That's what ticked me off about that. He didn't have. It was like the deck had no win condition. It was just designed to stall the game infinitely until you ran out of cards.
The win condition is you get out of cards.
Yeah,
but if
he runs you out of cards and lets the game kill you.
Yeah, and it lets the game kill you, right? Like
that one didn't bother me as much because I thought it was interesting.
Though, but it's not that I don't want to play. We're playing best of 1, so we're hoping the games are fast so that we can get the tournament done and maybe play some more games. Like we played Flip 7. 1 game of Flip 7, and that was amazingly fun. One. We played one.
It was 1 game. Yeah, you're right.
There was no extra time because several of the games went like 50 minutes in a best of 1. Yeah. Like that's ridiculous. I will say that Wes got put on tilt hard.
It was more that it was At first, I wanted to see the deck because it was. I had two questions when I sat to the table. One was, can I outrace this thing? He's on Colossus. I got to do 35 points of damage. Okay, great, awesome. Can I outrace this thing? And at the end, I was curious, what's his win condition? As we got down to the end, after dealing my 60th point of damage to his base, I realized that I did add it up, by the way.
Okay.
I realized that his win condition was just stall the game, drag the game out forever. And I was like, well, this is dumb. Like, when you build a deck, I'm too focused, I guess, when I build a deck. It's like, sit down, build a deck, have a plan, how I'm going to close the game. How do I end the game? This deck was designed to just let you murder yourself by eventually running out of cards.
Yeah.
Well, this is dumb to me. Like, this is stupid.
But in Ian's defense, hold on. In Ian's defense, I don't know how it feels in your head, but from everybody on this side of your eyeballs, you are clearly on tilt.
You were on tilt, bro. You were complaining after the game at another table, 15 feet away. And everybody could still hear you.
I don't care. I don't care. But it's for the exact same reason that Trey's giving, right? Like, if I'm at a PQ and I'm playing this, I get it, right? I don't want to see this trash when I show up for a $5 tournament. Like, what is this?
That's the point I'm making, right? The only thing I'm saying is that yes, these hard control decks win, but you can't play them at your locals. Like, they're not meant for your locals. If it doesn't make me want to sit down and play games against you, right?
Yeah.
Like, I sat down and I played games against Anthony before we started the tournament, right? He had 2 decks he wanted to test. So I'm playing Boba because I hadn't built anything else. Boba's, I don't know, meta, not meta. He's 50-50 in most matchups, I feel.
He's meta, but he doesn't stop. It's not about being good. It's about preventing your opponent from playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what it comes down to. But, like, I played more games in the 40 minutes with Anthony than I did the rest of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the stall and the hard control decks. Which we're winning. And are awesome, but like, I just don't. They're not good for your locals. Like,
congratulations, you won. At what cost?
Making some people mad for a week or two, and then we'll all forget about it.
I'll get over it. Like, it's more irritating to me that the game they've printed this critical mass of cards that allow this stupidity to occur.
Coming.
Right?
There's more coming.
That's my frustration, is that these cards exist in the game, and if cards exist, people are going to put them together. That's the way it works, right? So maybe stop doing this. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they sound like they're trying to push everything towards the mid-range. They're slowing down. Some of the articles they've written, hopefully they're moving that direction.
I can live with that, but yeah.
That was my rant. I would encourage people. I don't want to tell you how to have fun, but I would encourage people to consider the stakes and what's going on at the tournament. At the place not the tournament necessarily, but the place where you're playing.
Yeah.
Consider that when you choose how you're about to go interact with people. Is this going to achieve what you want to achieve? And if all you want to achieve is that you crush everybody and you win, then do what you like. But you might pay a cost for that. Yeah, that has nothing to do with the game.
Reasonable. All right, boys. Well, listen, we've probably run out of time here. Why don't we hang it up and get our brains set for the new set, which is only a couple weeks away. Woo! Mm-hmm. Pretty exciting stuff. Yeah. Pretty exciting stuff. When next we meet, guys, we will know dates for PQ or for SQs and regionals in January, February, and possibly December. I'm looking forward to that. That's as a caster, that's information that I want to have. That's another reason I'm trying to drive this conversation. I want to see if we can solve it before they announce dates. I'm probably not going to get that lucky, but I'm going to try.
Do you think you will, Ian?
No.
Never gonna happen.
Like, yes, Mr. C Raptor. Which ones are you gonna do for us free again this year?
Yeah, never gonna happen. But we're gonna try.
Can we pencil you in, sir, for a few of
them? We're so glad you're sucker. I mean, you're still working. You're still here to help us out, right? You stupid sucker. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right, guys. Well, let's hang it up, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Thanks for being here. We'll be back in a couple weeks with some more content. In the meantime, throw us the like, follow, subscribe, whatever it is, wherever it is you listen. And we appreciate you as always. Y'all take care. We'll see you soon.